I do not make this decision lightly.
Last night, President Barack Obama reiterated his supposed opposition to the war in Iraq. What you see in front of you is the text from a speech that he gave in 2002 in Chicago, which sums up the type of opposition that Barack Obama stands for. And as he says here, what I'm opposed to is a dumb war. What I'm opposed to is a rash war. What I'm opposed to is the cynical attempt by Richard Pearl and Paul Wolfowitz, blah, blah, blah. Nowhere does he say he's opposed to illegal wars or immoral wars. Never has he pointed out that the war in Iraq is illegal, is a war crime. It's a particular. It's the same type of that the same type of opposition the elites had with Vietnam. The occupation was bungled. The invasion was not well thought out. It was a mistake. It was all these things that completely skirt the real issue. And the fact is that the invasion of Iraq is illegal, it's immoral, and it needs to be ended now. Now, some of you, when I say something like, the war in Iraq is illegal, what does that mean? And that's cool. So, briefly, I'm going to go into that a little detail here. So, first off, we start off with the United States Constitution, Article 6, Debt, Supremacy, and Oaths. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. Did you catch that? All treaties made. Let's highlight that. All treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. Pretty clear, isn't it? So you say, well, what treaty? What treaty? Well, little fact, the UN, which is about 4 miles from my house here in Manhattan, the United Nations officially came in existence on October 24th, 1945. And guess who signed that charter? China, France, Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, the United States, and lots of other countries. We signed a document in 1945 agreeing to certain ways of acting in the international arena, particularly in regards to war. Because as we learned, or at least the lesson we hope to learn through, from World War II at the Nuremberg trials, is that essentially the most evil thing was the aggressive war that was waged. And the military tribunal, as you see here, which followed after World War II, called the waging of aggressive war essentially an evil thing. To initiate a war of aggression is not only an international crime, it is the supreme international crime, differing only from other war crimes in that it contains within itself the accumulated evil of the whole. Now, if you want to learn more about this, the place to look in the UN Charter would be Article 7, or Chapter 7, Article from 39 down. This is Article 51. And, some people say, you're just going to let yourself get beat up until the UN decides. Nothing in the present charter shall impair the inherent right of individual or collective self-defense if an armed attack occurs against a member of the United Nations. And you can read the rest for yourself. There's nothing in there that prevents self-defense. These things are pretty clear. They're unambiguous. Lawyers may make them seem ambiguous, but they're really not. And Article 39, to start it off, the Security Council shall determine the existence of any threat to the peace, breach of the peace, or act of aggression, and shall make recommendations or decide what measures shall be taken in accordance with Articles 41 and 42 to maintain and restore international peace and security. Now, there is nothing in this document that allows countries to unilaterally, that is, by themselves, decide to attack and invade a country that poses no threat to them. And Iraq certainly posed no threat to us. It didn't even pose a threat to its neighbors. This is pretty clear. If you want to look into this, I recommend it. The UN charters online, un.org. Like I said, this is Chapter 7, starting Article 39, work your way on down. Barack Obama doesn't oppose the war in Iraq for any of these reasons. He doesn't even mention it, let alone believe it. The fact is, he's a war criminal, and his continued occupation of Iraq, Afghanistan, and now Pakistan puts him in pretty bad company. Whatever you think of him, the facts are there.
Too many Americans are worried about the future.